I've got Toyosi, and you are gonna find out in my introduction in just a bit, just what it is that she's doing, or maybe some of you already know. I'm really excited. That's all I can say. Oh, and I'm not prepared. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go.
So would I have to wear this?
Yes, please pop it on. And when you speak, do try and make sure to project your voice,
Okay.
and also try to speak into the microphone.
I will
A
try
lot of
my
people always do
best.
this, and they now speak, and the microphone isn't catching their voices. In
Okay.
fact, let me just.
Shall we have like a test run?
No, we can't. So
Okay.
don't live trial by fire. But
Okay.
I'm here to guide you. Don't worry. All right, studio. That means well, here we are, Lagos. It is the 9 o'clock hour for a Feel Good Friday. I'm Shaka Martins, and this is Smooth Breakfast. And can you tell that I'm actually feeling good? I'm feeling very, very excited right now because I've got someone in the studio with me. This is a special Friday edition of Lagos Talks. So, this actually came about from you all, from the messages that you kept sending in during Freshly Pressed, during Lagos Talks as well, that you wanted to see more feel good stories. You wanted to see people helping people. You wanted to see what we're doing right in the country. Because sometimes when you listen to Freshly Pressed, you're like, oh my gosh, Nigeria, which way forward? What are we going to do? But amidst all of the bad news, there is good news. There are people who are just working day by day, and that is what we're doing. So, Fridays on Lagos Talks, you're going to be seeing more and more of these people. You're going to be hearing more and more of these stories of just how we can make a difference in our communities, how we can shine a light in the world. Okay, and today I've got a little light bearer with me. I can't wait to introduce her. And so I've got Toyosi Onikosi, who's the founder of the Elora camp, and we're going to be talking about this, taking literacy to the garage, which is exactly what she has done. So, Toyosi, welcome, welcome. Good morning, and thank you for joining me on Lagos Talks. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. Hi, Shopware. Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Right, great. Tracy, I'm really excited about this conversation. Now, we've already been talking off air, and yeah, Tracy's story is just going to blow you away. Now, first of all, let me give you the phone lines because I want this to be an interactive conversation. That is what Lagos Talks is about. No matter where you are in the world, this is your chance to have your say, okay? So call us up on 0144899981. You can also send WhatsApp messages in 20809 440 Use the hashtag Lagos Talks 981 on Twitter, and we are streaming live up on youtube.com. Hello, YouTube, / smooth 981 FM Lagos. You can always, 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 I really do just suggest you do so. Leave a comment up on the live stream, and I will be able to read out your comments as well. Wherever you are in the world, there's a way for you to talk on Lagos Talks right here on Smooth Breakfast. Okay, so Toyosi, tell us, you know what, you need to start from the beginning because the beginning is a very, very interesting place in this your story. So, tell us how exactly the Elora camp came to be. Where did this all start from?
Okay, so I think it started with the fact that I have a desperate need to want to do something in my community. Everywhere that I find myself, I always feel the need to want to make an impact, to want to do something. So I know it's not possible to be a superhero. It's not possible to change the whole
Who
world.
told you that? It is possible to be a superhero. All you have
Well,
to do
in
is
your
make a
community,
difference.
yes, exactly. But I think of superhero in terms of like the Avengers.
Ah, okay, yes. It's not possible to be a Hollywood superhero. Not that we know of. Maybe you know something different, but still. Okay, so yeah.
So yeah, it started like that for me, and every environment that I find myself, I always feel the need to want to make an impact. So this started with me in Unilag, University of Lagos, studying law, and I had the opportunity to go for a Harvard conference that featured a social venture challenge,
Okay.
and I decided to create a project that helped literacy in children in Makoko, because Makoko is close to Unilag. And went to Harvard, I presented it, I made it to the finals, and then by the time I got to the finals, um, when they got back to me, they said, "Oh, I didn't win the grant money," and that was really painful because I'd like invested a lot, and my friends had helped, and it was supposed to be like something that we're doing for children, around to help them to promote reading and all. I mean, I'm big on reading. I feel like children should read more.
You're my kind of person. Okay.
So yeah, that's how it started. And by the time I got back, the feedback that I got back from them was, you're very passionate about this thing, but we just needed you to clarify a bit more on your model, the model of your social venture. We're not clear if you're trying to propose a business or if you're actually trying to propose a social venture.
Right.
And by that time, I was like in my final year in Unilag, so I had to go to law school, and I went to law school in Abuja. But then something wonderful happened, and my dad, who is a pastor, happened to be transferred to the garage for like a missionary kind of thing. So while they focused on the adults that are there, I just saw that there was a need for the children as well. So I started out teaching them the Bible, and I noticed that there was a gap. Like they didn't understand basic things.
Now hold on. Off air, while we were talking about this, you had mentioned it's Ojota Garage, right?
Yes,
So
Ojota New
massive,
Garage.
yeah, interstate garage, and
Yes.
so tell us about the people that your dad was reaching out to.
Okay, so in the garage, you have the bus drivers, you have the cab drivers that take people interstate, you have the touts, you have the women that sell things in the garage. And then it's the way it works is if your mother sells stuff in the garage, then you have to like hawk her wares around the garage. So my children actually do that. Some of my children actually used to hawk stuff like after school, you know. So I just saw that there was a gap,
Right.
And I just felt the need to do something about it. So it started with teaching them the Bible, and then noticing that, okay, these kids actually don't know basic things. They don't know countries, they don't know languages, they don't know a lot of things, and they couldn't write.
Now, you told me an example of a country that a child said, and how that kind of really just snowballed, had that snowball effect, right?
Okay, so this happened, and a friend of mine was with me on this particular day, and I was teaching him about the Tower of Babel and languages and things. And I was asking them about countries of the world. What countries do they know? And my kids do not know any countries, or did not know any countries. And one of them actually said Lekki.
Wow.
So she said Lekki because she thought Lekki was a country, and my friend just burst out laughing. Like, he was so amused. He thought she was joking, but she wasn't.
When it turned out she
yeah,
wasn't,
because she was looking at him and she was like,
suddenly it wasn't so funny
like,
anymore.
so for me that was like, no, like, this thing seems like it's funny, but it's actually not funny. So I thought that I was just going to teach them things like math, spelling, handwriting, art. But then I saw that there was also a need to teach them about the world, to actually show them the world. And I've been like making progress with that. So my kids recently got featured on Ellen, and there's a story to that.
Oh wow, okay.
On
We're all ears.
My kids recently got featured on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and there's a story to that. And it was just me telling myself that, okay, I don't know where these children are going to be in a few years from now, but I want them to have at least some exposure, for them to know that there's a life outside this place. And the environment or the school or wherever it is that you find yourself doesn't really matter in the long run. So yes, I started teaching them with an encyclopedia, taught them about continents, taught them about countries, got them puzzles that have to do with like maps and all of those things. And I saw that these children are actually very intelligent. And I'm not saying it in the generic sense of how they say, oh, all children are intelligent.
But this is an intelligent child.
Like, if you meet my kids, you know that these children, given the right opportunities, they are very intelligent. But I think the best thing about them for me was they were willing to learn. They wanted to know more, and it just endeared them more to me.
Now, this is really interesting because earlier this week on Lagos, no less, and you can catch the replay up on youtube.com/smooth981fm, because I waste no opportunity to plug our YouTube channel. But it's so interesting to me, and it's so pertinent, especially because earlier on in the week we actually had a Lagos Talk special, and where we put the education education sector under review, and we got a chance to speak with the state commissioner for education. Just talking about public schools and how whether or not they're meeting up with what our children need and what's the nation needs for the people who are going to be future, we hope, productive members of society. And so it's interesting to me that you're talking about after school, but then again, you have these children who obviously have very sharp minds, but don't know some very basic things.
Okay, so for me, I think it's a question of two things. Number one, the environment and like the family background,
Mm-hmm.
and number two, the schools. So I went to a Lagos State school, and I can honestly say that my school is a good school. But then coming into my school was in Ekpe. My school is a model school, a Lagos State model school.
Mm.
And what I hear is the model school is supposed to be like a model for other
For
schools to look like. So it
exactly for
seemed,
what other schools can
yes.
aspire
So
to.
when I finished, it seemed like I was lucky to have gone to a model school, and like general normal public schools are not as good as the model schools. So recently I did something. I told the kids to write. I have a thing of saying my
No,
children.
I love it. See how I'm not even saying anything. Every time you say, like, it puts a little smile on my face. Just seeing my children, I'm like, oh, there she
I
goes
told
again.
them to write letters to Jesus, and in one of the entries, one of them had actually said, "Oh, Sonwolu bought books for her, and she wishes like Nigeria will have a good president like Sonwolu. She thinks Sonwolu is the president."
Mhm.
And for me, that was a bit disturbing. I get what is happening, but it doesn't change the fact that in public schools there is a gap, and the children that go to public schools, while some of them might be extraordinary and might be very good and be able to meet up,
Mm.
but like there's still a gap.
Now, and here's a reason why I really love your story, both sides of it, because it shows that both sides of the education system and sector here, especially in Lagos, in that, yes, whenever we think public schools, we're just like, oh no, terrible, they're all terrible. Oh, okay, let me not put words in your mouth, but from the stories and the conversations that I take part in, people are like, oh no, the public schools talk about later on in the show as we take the calls and everything is, you know, what can we do, right? What do you need from people? I know because she actually, Tennessee actually started off doing this all by herself. Like, she's saying that she doesn't know about superheroes, but she was over there being Superwoman, taking on the whole, of these children's needs by herself until she realized that you can't be a one woman island. And so you opened it up, right? Your friends started
Well, yeah,
helping.
but for
Yeah.
me, I think that we should get to a point where
Mm-hmm.
these things are not extraordinary. Nigeria, I was reading something yesterday, and they were like, oh, that Nigeria has the largest poverty population, and there are so many rich people in Nigeria at the same time. But
Mm-hmm.
even though it seems like there are more poor people, but like things like this, and I think is one of the things that seemingly helps America. When I read Barack Obama's story, I saw how he started. He started with community organizing and things like that. While I have no interest in politics, I know that if every one of us, try to help somebody, try to not it's not just always about me. And some of
Mm-hmm.
my friends will tell me, say, I can't do what you're doing, but like here's some money for books for the kids, or just tell me, what do the kids need?
No, see, that's the thing, and that's what I really I understand because everybody is different, right? Some people
Yeah.
will not feel the calling that you have, but they will see a need and they will want to help, but they don't know how to help, right? Which is where people like you come in, you know. So now someone like me might just be like, oh, accept it as status quo or
Hmm.
something. But then she'll meet someone like you and not be like, ha, I can help. I see what you're doing. I can help. I have access to publishers. Let's get you books. Let's bring up this library,
Exactly.
let's get more and more libraries. And it can snowball from
Or
that.
another thing, especially, and which is something I've noticed with our generation,
Hmm.
people want to help other people not because they genuinely want to help, but because of what they want to get
Out of
from
it.
it. Yeah. So I'll give an example.
Hmm.
I've been applying to grad school. This is not alright.
No, it's not. We're on YouTube right now.
Okay, and people tell me, oh, in your grad school applications, make sure to add that, oh, you do this and this and this with the kids. And personally, no, I wouldn't do that, because I don't want them to think, not like I don't want them to think, I don't do it because of that. And these children are like my friends, so it's like you're helping your friend, and you're telling like somebody that you want to help you, that, oh, help me because, or give me this thing because. So I feel like we should take out this mindset that, oh, the reason why we need to volunteer is because it will look good on our
Oh,
CVs.
okay, yeah, there's that. So, oh, man, this conversation I have.
You know, the time that talk about help people and take it off social media. There was one time that
Mm,
even everywhere people were talking about
all
it.
right,
So you know, so
let's talk about
Why
it.
do you have to post
so
about
so I don't even
I
mind
remember, and
if you're
even
posting on
orphanages were
social,
like,
because you're
man, stop
getting
and
like
if you want to
awareness.
help the
no
orphans, just come in and
and
don't
give
give your
Yeah.
pictures. All right, we're back in studio. 19 minutes gone past 9 o'clock in Lagos. You are talking with us here on Smooth Breakfast for a Feel Good Friday. I'm Shopper Martins, and we are taking literacy to the garage as I talk with Toyosi Onikosi, who's the founder of the Elora Camp. And this is, she's been telling us her story of how the Elora Camp started, and how it started off at the Ojota Interstate Garage, where her father was posted, and who's a pastor, and so went there to start ministering, and how she noticed that whilst there's outreach to the adults, what about the children? And that's where it all came from, seriously. So it's been a really interesting conversation. I know that you want to participate. I see the phone lines going, so let me take this call on 0144899981. Hello, good morning. What's your name and your location? Good morning. What's your name and your location? Sorry, I didn't get that. Your name again? Ah, Ronson from Abalande. Okay, go ahead, Ronson.
Okay, Chelsea, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I think you're one of a kind in this your venture. I think I'm really interested in it because
Thank you very much. Thank you.
safety in Nigeria is very high, especially in
Sorry,
the public school.
making more
You
fair
find
that
out
our
that
YouTube, which is
a classical example, they gave a child some sums to solve. The child bring it to me. I I, I won't spoon feed you. I will never spoon feed you. So I guided the child. I told him what to do.
okay.
Samples. After the samples, I was confident that he knows what they have done. So I said, go and do the assignment. You have understood it. So, but to my utmost dismay, the child came back and they failed most of his songs. And the man was like, how did I do this my songs? And what happened? I said, no, I'm sure the child did well, but let me go and check. And I checked. So the reverse was, the teacher marked all the ones he got wrong right. Then all the ones he got right wrong. So instead of the child to get like 8 over 11, the child got 2 over 11. And
Oh, wow.
I was like, what is this? I followed the child to the school. By 8, 9, I don't gone to work. But by 9, I got to the school. The teacher was not in class. You can imagine. The children were just in chaos, making noise everywhere there and there. Where is this teacher? So your teacher will not come to school by 9. But they also to come to school earlier at 8. So what is this? And I saw a male teacher. In defense of the female teacher, because she was a female teacher, and it was mathematics though. That one now said,
Mm-hmm.
do I,
Mm-hmm.
if a female, you don't leave no math. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, I should have taken that thing beyond that. I even blame myself later because this thing has happened almost a decade now. The guy should
Oh,
be
because she's
on
female,
red
she
sheet
doesn't
and
know
all.
that.
You can imagine the take column in our especially public schools.
Yeah.
Those teachers, I'm sorry to say, this is high. Sometimes I'm in my friend's cafe, all the secondary school children will bring assignment, and I'm trying to like lecture them maybe on English or something, maybe Concord or letter writing. You find that they don't know. If they get even the letter will just no paragraph, just
Mm.
I don't know. She doesn't understand the paragraph.
Mm.
Why the paragraph is. She doesn't understand topic sentence. She doesn't understand those things, those how they write. And I was like, I just think this is too. So taking it to the garage, they will say, I really appreciate you. If I can join you, I really
All right then. If Ronson can join you now, that brings. Thank you so much for your call, Ronson, and for sharing. Your desire and your willingness to help as well, and what you're already doing. So, I saw you nodding. As Ronson was sharing
Yeah, because
his story.
I can relate to his experiences.
Mm.
I have a young girl that is about 15, 16. She wants to write WAEC, and like I said, I told them to write letters recently, and her letter was really disappointing. So I had to like speak to her like, oh, you're about to write WAEC, and you need to do better than this. How can I help you? Do you want to like get a lesson teacher? And so yeah, that's what we're working on now. She's
Mm.
starting a lesson, and I'm trying to get her like basic textbooks. I bought her textbooks and things that she needs, so I can relate to what he's saying.
All right, now I see the phone line going again, so call me up once more at 01448991. Back to the phone lines we go. Hello, good morning. What is your name and your location?
I'm your friend, GT.
All right, Jite Atiaba, go ahead, share with us. You've heard the beginning of Toyo's story, and there's so much more that we want to talk about, but share your contribution.
Okay, to your guest there, thank you for being an inspiration. Yes.
Amen.
And
Thank you.
Oops, sorry,
yeah,
did you
this
see
your
that?
children. I love it too when you say my children, because at the point I was wondering, she has given birth to children.
No, I'm not. I'm not married.
That they are your children. These are children. Do you have a camp for them?
Oh,
Wait, Jite, you say you have a group you plan to what?
We normally hold a Children's Day activity spread out across Nigeria. But again, I'm just looking at it now. If it will be possible, I can talk to the leaders who can come and share our Children's Day activities with these
aw.
special children.
All right, Toyosi, so
Oh.
what do you say?
Wow, that would be wonderful. Okay, so
Thank you, Jite, by the way. So, thank you for your contribution, and Toyosi will be answering now. So, she says, do you have a camp for the
okay,
children?
so the Eliora camp started with pressure from my friends to see like your kids are making a lot of progress. So from the time I started teaching them, so I'm the kind of person, maybe because I'm a lawyer, I like to document progress.
Mhm.
So from when I started teaching them, I knew where they were, and after like spending some time with me, my kids were getting better results in school. They knew more stuff, and they were even getting like certificates for good behavior, certificates for improved behavior. Not only that, I had like a lot of parents coming to tell me thank you because the kids are more responsible, they're behaving better at home. So it just started with me, okay, just uploading. So I used to upload it on my personal page, like, oh, see the progress that my child made. Oh, my child was 28th in his class the previous term, now he's 5th in his class. So that just means that if I just put in a lot, like a little bit more effort, just push him a little bit,
Mm.
then he's probably going to be first, and then he'll be able to compete with children that go to like better private schools because of how I'm teaching.
Mm.
And I document all of those things. I put like progress reports. So if you so it just started with me, okay, what name should I give this thing? Like, okay, open a separate page for them. What name do I give it? Because I was dead set on not starting an NGO or anything like that. I didn't want it to be a commercial thing.
No, so this is really interesting because we had an off-air conversation. YouTube, you were privy to it, and we're about to bring it on air now. And that was this thing that. So Toyosi is, in fact, I don't know how we managed to get Toyosi on this show because Toyosi is committed to keeping this stuff private. But
So yeah.
that's because you have a certain worldview, right? And you've noticed a certain trend as well.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what you've noticed.
Okay, so I have my friends tell me, oh, you should set up an NGO. It will bring in more funding for the kids and all of that. I'm a lawyer and I know the legal and regulatory things behind setting up those kind of business organizations. Now, I don't want it to be a thing. So I see my kids as my friends, like I said offline,
Mhm.
and I don't want to be helping my friends and, be putting it out. So the only reason I even like started putting stuff up was because I started noticing progress in the children. Like, this is progress, and it was just to encourage other people
And
that
good news you've got to share.
Okay, so it was just to encourage other people that okay, if you actually put your mind to something, like don't look down on these children just because like they are actually very brilliant. So and it's one of the things I admire the chess to slums chess to slum guys thing, like what he did, because even looking at that too, I'm like, okay, the world needed to see that, because that's like the typical Queen of Catway kind of story.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get? So that was it for me, and I just knew that no. And back to the worldview thing, I think that volunteering in this generation, people do not volunteer because they genuinely want to help. Not everybody, but at least from what I've seen, people volunteer now because they think it will look good on their CVs. They think it will get them opportunities, because a lot of these big organizations and Ivy League schools and a lot of these scholarships and things are tied to, like, they need to see like a level of volunteering on your part. So when I'm applying for things and people tell me, oh Toyosi, put the stuff that you do with the kids, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. And I don't talk about
So-
about it to get stuff.
So we've got to take. These breaks are just coming up so quickly. Well, that tells you how invested we are in the conversation. So we've got to take a break. But when we get back, more on this. So yeah, we're gonna be still continuing the conversation off air, and we'll bring back what we can on air. We only have so much time, but do stick with us right here. This is Smooth 98.1. I'm Shopper Martins, and Lagos Talks for a Feel Good Friday special, taking literacy to the garage with Toyosi Onikosi, who's the founder of the Eliora Camp. And yeah, good stuff, Toyosi. Good stuff. We'll be right back.
Music
So
is
even
not
when you
so-
say founder, like when I saw it, I was like,
Founder,
hey,
yeah.
founder. Hey, these people want to put me on.
Don't forget to respond to. The
Yes, I was
Yeah,
going to
to
say
Ronson.
that, like,
Then also mention Ellen.
to Jite and Ronson, because Ronson has said I would honestly like to join Toyosi on her venture.
okay, so another thing that I'm scared of is one of the reasons why I try to also keep it like limited to me is because I'm scared of predators, and these are other people's children.
Ooh,
Yeah, so I don't like to just bring strangers that I don't know, all in the name of they are trying to help.
right.
You get? So even when people reach out to me,
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
you can actually quantify the kind of help and qualify the kind of
yes,
help you need.
exactly. So when it comes to meeting the kids, interacting the kids, a one-time thing, I don't mind. But when it's like, oh, I want to come and be teaching them, and I want to, like, it sends me like,
So I'm guessing you're not collecting funds, right? Because there'll be issues of accountability, and I'm
Yes.
guessing you don't want to do that.
I
one now.
don't.
But people can also do stuff like
Okay, so-
donating physical things.
Yes. So what I
Books.
do is, even when my friends send money to them, I tell them this is what I'm going to use the money for. When I use the money for that thing, I send them the receipt of me paying for that thing. After I do that, I now send them a video of the whichever beneficiary.
From my interaction with her, see, this is exactly what she does. She would even prefer that you just buy the books and send it to
No,
her. But if
exactly.
she now has to buy it, she will do all that. When you send the books, she'll take the video.
Yeah.
Probably even take our children saying thank you.
Yeah,
All of that.
because
stuff.
what I want to do now is if and we need to talk about the library that you want to
Set up for the
that you want to
kids.
set up, right? Because then I know the publishers, right, from Smooth Book Review. So let's see if we can get publishers to
And
actually bring you copies of the books.
I would actually love that, because I really want them to read. I think reading is going to expand their mind.
See, so I've done this thing with this initiative called Book Dash. They're in South Africa, where they bring all these like creators, authors,
Well, you have
illustrators,
messages
editors
on
YouTube. YouTube people, we're coming to your messages. We'll.
So can she create a wish list?
Can you create a wish list? People, we're going to make Toyosi accept help today. So yes, that's a good one. Can you create a wish list and share?
Okay.
Sweet. This is a
maybe
really
I'm
good
focusing
suggestion.
a lot on the literacy part, because my kids need help with like every single thing in their life. I
Let's
have to
talk
buy
about
them
it.
school bags. I have to give them money for books.
So we can give you school bags.
Yeah, I have to buy
Okay.
shoes, things. I have to literally do almost everything. for
Wonderful.
them.
We're coming in now. Studio. 33 minutes gone past 9 o'clock in Lagos. You are talking right here with Toyosi Onyekosi, who is, I now don't know what to call you because I want to say
Definitely not a superhero.
the founder of the Aliora camp until we come up with a better name because it's like, I'm just doing what I do. Very understated person. But yeah, so we have been talking since the start of the 9 o'clock hour, and we'll continue to talk until, they drag us off the out of the studio about taking literacy to the garage, because she's got the Eliora camp, and that is what it is all about. She noticed there was a gap, a need for children to when it came to education, from children who could not who thought Lekki was a country, to other things, writing WAEC, and knowing that, well, yeah, there's
To spelling, like,
you
I give
need
them
more
a-
help with your spelling, with your paragraphs, with everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, so there's so much that we can talk about, and a lot of people have been sending in messages. We've Ronson has called up, GT has called up, they've asked you questions, because when it comes to this, people want to help. And so it's about now figuring out how they can help. So Ronson when Ronson called up, he said that he would love to know, and he's also sent up a backup message to say, I would honestly like to join Toyosi on her venture. He wants to know how he can help. And they already spoke about she already spoke about how, can they come and do visits with the kids and entertainment and all whatnot. So what can we do to help? That's something else. And going over to youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos, B says, I'm very impressed with this young lady. Please share her social media details so we can support her work. Social media details, Toyosi.
I will.
Okay. And also says, you're going to do it in just 1 second. I just want to read out what else B has to say. B also says, can she create a wish list and share it? Right. Because there's a lot that you've spoken about off air of what the children need. And something that we need to touch on is this library that you want to set up, right?
Yeah.
But before that, what are your social media handles? And I'm going to ask you for this again and again. So does Eleora Camp have a social media handle?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does, where I strictly just upload the pictures of the children. I do a very poor job doing that because I have a very serious 9 to 5. So and which also makes it tedious for me as well, because my Saturdays and Sundays are dedicated to the kids. So it's like I barely have time to rest, because somebody just has to do it.
See, now there's one way someone can help: social media handling. Okay, now we're starting
Yes.
to pinpoint it.
I would really love that. If, like, I have all their pictures, I have all their videos. Like I said, I record their progress, when they're starting and how far they've come. I have everything, like, in pictures, and I show them, because when they see the progress for themselves, they believe more in themselves. Like, oh, this was where I was, I couldn't spell. So if you see the Eliora camp, you see pictures of me hugging them and clapping when they're getting their spellings and teaching them stuff, because it's like, it's really exciting to see that, okay, like, this thing is you're actually making an impact. So yes, on how they can help. So what we did was, because it's in the garage, we just have like shops there, and like where people sell stuff. So because I did not want to take them out of the garage, we acquired a shop in the garage, and we like converted it. My dad and the church helped a great deal.
Okay.
Converted it into a small classroom, painted, got a whiteboard, and things. And so that's why I teach them on Saturdays and on Sundays, because they go to school Monday to Friday. I have a regular, more like 8 to whenever job, not 9 to 5.
You didn't study law for nothing.
I did not. So yeah, so that's where I do that. So most of the time I have my friends say, oh, I want to come and celebrate my birthday with your kids. You're doing an amazing job with them. And I want to have my birthday with them. What would they like? But mostly how I think people can help is send them books.
Okay.
And books cover, I have 6 to 17-year-olds in my class. I have a 16-year-old that wants to be a doctor, and she's really good, but she's struggling with physics and chemistry. And I recently put up a post asking people, oh, if you have like your old or your siblings that just finished secondary school and they have,
so
like,
they need textbooks.
yes, they need textbooks for school, they need shoes, they literally need everything.
I mean, so you were giving us a detailed list, and this is where B's suggestion comes in, right?
Yeah, so
you
I
need to create a wish
Yeah.
list. B, that was such a fantastic suggestion. You need to create a wish list because you've talked about shoes, textbooks, they even need bags. That's something you told me off air,
Yeah,
right?
I'm constantly, that's the thing that is always on their wish list. They everybody always wants, so I do a thing where I get them birthday presents. I know all their birthdays, and the recurring birthday present has been, oh, a new school bag, a new school. I recently got one, a new school bag. I'm like, oh, why have you not started carrying it? She's like, oh, she's keeping it for when she gets to SS1. She's
Oh.
still in GS2.
Oh wow.
And I'm like,
Oh,
you have to start
wow.
carrying that bag now.
Oh wow. No,
She
but
said that to
that's
me on Sunday.
That's what
And
it's
I'm
so
like,
special to them.
So lately to motivate them to
Mhm.
do well in school, I recently started. So I'll ask you, what do you want? One of them that does very well, he's such an amazing child. His name is Daniel. He said he wanted a bike for his birthday. Now I don't think I can afford a bike because with everything else that I do, bike. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me pray about it. And then somebody had offered me a bike for another child who is 16. Somebody had offered the bike to me like earlier in the year. So the person had asked me, oh, would she like a bike? And I'm like, nah, she's a 16-year-old girl. She doesn't want a bike. And I actually asked her. So she doesn't stay with her parents, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I knew that there was no way she would even be able to own a bike. So I reached out to the person. I'm like, oh, sir, I have this very amazing young boy. And when I gave him the bike, the other children were like, I'm coming first in my class this term. They came to come and till this Sunday, I gave one of my friends bought like toy cars, like remote control toy cars for my kids. I put it up, and the rest came to my meeting like, Auntie Toyosi, I'm coming first in my class this term. I'm going to read all the books that we already have. Like,
People incentive.
no,
All right, so-
it works. It works. Children and incentives are like 1 and 2.
So remember, please note this down, right? The social media handle at the Eliora Camp. So that is EL at ZTHE, then ELEORA Camp at the Eliora Camp. Okay, so see, we must shine the lights on what
Also,
the Eliora Camp needs.
with respect to exposure, so
Mhm.
I think one of the things that made me the happiest this week
Mm-hmm.
was that my kids recently got featured on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Whoa.
And
Okay.
that-
How did this happen?
That happened this week. So if you go to Ellen's page, there's like a video of a young boy. So what happened was, there's this like 2020. I saw a video of this young boy. His name is Sam, and he was rapping, like he calls it "You Can Be ABC." So he raps from A to Z and said things you can be, like you can be an A, you can be an architect, sketch a building. I know the song, but I will start singing it here. And I went to his page. I saw that he learned how to read when he was 2. His mom taught him. So he even says it on the Ellen show, that his mom taught him to read when he was 2.
Wow.
And this is not a joke. There are videos of him on his page reading at the age of 2.
See, now everybody who's following me up on Instagram knows I'm all about, Lakumi, our producer, is smiling because she knows, but I'm all about reading and the effect that reading has on children.
On children,
right?
yes.
So tell us a little, first of all, let me read some of the messages, and then I want you, as soon as I'm done, I want you to tell us about, because we are actually running out of time, I want you to tell us about the library that you want to set up, okay? And I know that you said it's not just about the books, it's about other stuff as well. So don't worry, we will have some time to talk about that. Now, this message in from Aisha says, Toyosi is beautiful. The children do need help. My brother is trying to do the same in the north for the Almajiri children. And he can learn a few things from this because it will help to get them off the streets, banditry and Boko Haram. And Aisha says, please share your wish list. And Olori Ajike says, Titilola says, well done, Toyosi. I'm so moved by your kindness and by you bridging the gap for these children. I would love to help in any capacity at all. Your kind gesture needs to be encouraged. Please allow us to render the little help that we all can. I understand the point of not wanting to commercialize your project, but there is a need for funding and lots of help. And that's the thing. I understand that commercialization aspect, but like we were talking about, you first started this off by yourself, but then let's face it, the more that you give, the more that you see that you need to give,
Yeah.
right? The more
The
that
more they come.
exactly, because you're providing something, there is a gap and you're trying to bridge it, and people will come to where they can see a future for themselves, right? So there are a lot of people here who want to help you. It's just for you to tell us in what way we can help you.
Send books to the children. I want them to read and read and read because I grew up reading a lot of books, and that was courtesy of my mom. My mom was big on my mom's. I think after she read Ben Carson's story about how his mom made him read like 2 books a week, she was like, okay, you and Lauton, my brother's name is Lauton, you and Lauton have to start like reading. But my mom has always been big. My mom was an educator.
Your mother and my mother would have gotten along.
So send books. I want them to read, and I want them to have a library so that even where I'm not around, they can always go back to that library and read. I was even thinking of acquiring like another shop within the garage
To make into a library.
Yes, to actually turn it into a library so that even the children that are Muslims, because in the garage, there are children that are Muslims and they want to come, but they can't because they think, oh, it's a church Christian.
Oh, it's a religious thing, and okay.
So they can't. So I want all the children there to have access to it, even if it's one book they read it. So which is what I do for my kids now. You read one book a week, you write me a book report, and it's helping their grammar, it's helping their spelling. But we quickly run out of books to read, so sometimes I have to recycle.
See,
books.
I know authors, okay? Authors who can come and read to these children when they can see that, oh, I actually know the person who's written this book. That's
So that would really help them. And I like to bring them my friends that are doctors, my friends that are architects. I bring them to meet the kids, to speak to them, because a lot of them have humble beginnings as well, and I try to speak to them from a very practical perspective. I'm not the typical adult that will say, no, don't do this, or no, you must not do that, or you must read your book. I try to make them understand why they need to read, because the reason why a lot of people don't like reading now is because when they were children, their parents made it seem like a chore.
Yeah.
So if you make children enjoy reading and they see the benefits of reading, they see how it makes them seem more intelligent in school, they are more inclined to do that. So send books, and beginner books. I have children I have 13-year-olds that don't know how to read, so I need beginner books. I need all kinds of books, really.
Okay, you can see we started to get to see sharing what she needs. All right, we need to take a break, but we'll come back for the final few minutes of Lagos Talks right here on Smooth Breakfast. Tessie, I bet you when you were at the beginning of the show, Tessie was like, "Oh, we need a test run." Did you think that you'd be able to talk for this long? And well, actually, you know what? I think you did.
We need to get Tessie to commit on air. That she's going to send a wish list to Instagram.
Yes, you really
Then
do need to.
Please let her finish her Ellen
All
story.
of this
but you
thing
need to
makes-
be quick about that story.
So when we come back, we've got 10 minutes, right?
Okay, so I think the early story is me just saying, I reached out to his mom, who is an educator, and she started giving me, because I'm like, how is it possible that you taught a 2-year-old how to read?
Wait, how did we get off the Ellen story?
You got us off. You literally just went. I was like, wait, what's
I
going
got
on?
us off the Ellen story. Was it with messages or just randomness?
You literally just halted her speech and then said, you know what, I'm going to read messages and then we're going to talk about the library, which she talked about already. I should shoot you. Seriously.
Murder and violence. This is what I had to put up with. I'm sorry.
I was wondering, like, okay.
Oh no, it was because I could see the
Maybe
messages
because
coming
it's
in.
So I reached out to her, and she's an educator. Like, she's actually a private tutor, and she teaches like children to read. So she said she told me how she taught him to read, and I started trying like those things out with my kids. And then she now sends books, like not just books. She sends science experiments. She sends puzzles to the kids. And it's from the money that Ellen had given Sam. Ellen gave Sam like $10,000 on his first appearance in the show. So the kids have been talking to Sam. They exchange experiences about going to school in America, going to school in Nigeria. And my kids have never been to America, so they think that America is what they see on TV. So having an American friend, they are actually friends with him. So he spoke about them on the Ellen show, and that was, I like, yes. And the best part of it for me was I wasn't featured in it, so like it wasn't about me, it was about them, which is what, like, I just want to
we're
be
back.
invisible. Okay.
All right, people, here we are for the final few minutes of Lagos Talks. And we need to talk Ellen because apparently we got off the topic. I don't know how. My producer has said some stuff. I don't believe her. All right, so see, if you are just tuned in, you've missed out on a lot, but you can always go and catch the replay up on youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. Now, I've got Toyosi Onikosi in the studio with me, and she's talking about the Eliora Camp, which is this initiative that she set up that is operating out of the Ojota Interstate Garage, wherein she educates these children. She saw a gap where she saw that children who were attending public schools and who were children of the bus drivers, all the people in the garage, that they had there was a bit of a gap in their education. And she was like, hey, let me plug the gap. Now, we've been talking with her about, what she's been doing to help, how we can help as well. And there are a couple of things that I have been mandated to do by the behind the scenes producer. And so we're going to go to it. But first of all, Ellen, tell us.
Okay, so this week my kids got featured on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and that happened because when I saw the video of the boy, Michelle Obama put it up. He was invited to Ellen, and all of them like, wow, this is impressive. So I went to his page, saw that he learned how to read when he was 2. He also said it on the Ellen show, and that was really impressive for me. Now, it seems like a long shot because I didn't expect her to answer me, so I reached out to his mom on Instagram and say, oh, my name is Toyosi, I'm a lawyer in Lagos, but I have these kids that I teach, and a lot of them don't know how to read. As at that point in time, a lot of them did not know how to read, and I don't know how you were able to teach a 2-year-old to read, but like a 2-year-old to read, but you need to teach me what you do. And she responded.
Whoa.
And she was like, okay, let's have a call. So we have like a FaceTime call. I meet the boy, and she's so friendly, she's so lovely, and she starts to give me tips on, okay, this is how to teach kids how to read. There's sight words, there's pronunciation, there's teaching them the letters, teaching them the sounds, and all of those things. And so she sends me books and she says, oh, the books are from Sam. And not just books, she sends science projects, she sends puzzles, games, and all of that. And I'm like, whoa. And she sends more than one, like cartons. So like the kids have met Sam, and it's wonderful for me that my children that started off not even knowing countries now have an American friend. And the boy is such an amazing, he's doing a lot now. He's now an author. He's doing a whole lot now, and my children can actually say Sam is their friend. So on the Ellen show, because Sam was invited back to the Ellen DeGeneres show, he was like, oh, that he sent some books to his friends in Nigeria. And I think the amazing part of it for me was that he didn't feature me. He was actually talking about his friends. So when my kids grow up, wherever it is they are going to meet Sam, whether Sam is going to become a president of the United States, my kids have a friend in America called Sam, and now they're eager to travel to America to go and meet him, and Sam is also eager to come to Nigeria. So the last conversation I had with his mom this week, she was like, oh, we can't wait to see you, and I'm like, we can't wait to see you, like, so and my kids believe very much in me. They think I can make anything happen. So they're like, Auntie Toyosi is going to take us to America. God. So every time we pray now, they're praying, God, please, Auntie Toyosi's job, bless her, so that we can all go to America and we can all meet Sam and we can all do this and we can all do that. And I'm like, okay, keep believing in me, please.
Listen, you've done a lot so far. You can, we can see that you can do more. It's all right. They believe in you. They believe in you. Now, Tessie, we really need you to let us know how to help and to give us your wish list, right? So the way that we're contacting you is the only way we can keep up to date with you is on social media right now. Or does Eliora Camp have websites or anything like that?
Oh no, so even that's why when you said founder, I was like, hey, founder, these people want to. Because for me, it was just, oh, okay, you need to give it a name. And at that point in time, I just found out about the word Eliora, which is God is my light. And I'm like, okay, Eliora Camp, God is going to be our light in this place. Like, God is going to direct us on what to do. That was it for me. So that's where the name even came from. But like, as far as setting up stuff, I'm just like, oh no, these are my friends, these are my kids, they are like my siblings, and got to do this for them like I would do for a younger sibling. So I think I think that's what it is. But yeah, I have the Instagram page.
Mhm.
I set up for them to upload pictures to also show them of I want them to grow up and see it.
So I think we have like 1 minute left. So let's make this as targeted as possible.
Okay.
Where are we going to see this wish list? You can't be a lawyer about this. Where are we going to see this wish list?
Oh my gosh. Okay. You know what? I will put up the wish list on Instagram.
Okay, when can we expect to see the wish list?
Let's say next week.
Okay.
I'm seeing the kids on Saturday, and I would probably want to articulate like their individual needs.
All right.
So that's one. But I also like to say a concluding like thing. Um, I feel like people should, and it's not necessarily about me or what I'm doing right now. I really genuinely want to speak to people in my generation to do something in their immediate community. It just takes one person to make a change. So you don't have to be giving to me or donating to a Lira camp. Within your immediate community, you know that it might not even be children, it might be old people, it might be people living with disabilities. Just don't be selfish. It's not just about you, you know. I know everybody wants to make money, everybody wants to live the Instagram social media life. You want to, but like I've had days where I've needed shoes, but you know, my this kid needs his school bag, and I would rather, because I know that I can manage with what I have. So I'm not saying, oh, give everything you have, but I'm just saying in any way that you can help in your immediate community, whatever skill that you can teach, whatever it is that you can do to just, you know, give back, and not
Okay.
giving back or not volunteering because you want to get a scholarship or you want to get an admission or something, just genuinely and from the bottom of your heart. And I
Uh,
can say it's very rewarding. At least it has been very rewarding for me.
Oh my goodness. So there you go. Final words from Toyosi Onikosi, who is going to update her wish list up on Instagram. Make sure you go and follow at the Eliora Camp, at the definite article, then Eliora, Eleora Camp. At the Eliora Camp. She's going to be updating her wish list next week. So I'll give you some grace. We'll say by next week, Friday, that wish list should be up. All right. And if it isn't, please feel free. Come to me, come to us. We are at Smooth 981 FM. Just tag us and say, hey, what's happening with at the Eliora Camp? Tag me at Shokwe Martins on all social media platforms. I'm going to be posting about Teresi up on Instagram in just a bit. So make sure you go and catch that at Shokwe Martins. Teresi, we must figure it out. All right, that is that for Lagos Talks. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank
Been
you so much,
it's really been
Shokwe.
a blessing to have you on the show and to talk about, you know, the way you are helping to make a difference and make a change in your part of Lagos. And it's a ripple effect. You change one person's life, you change
Yeah.
multiple people's
Mhm.
lives. And that is no, Ronson. It is not at the Eliore camp. It is at the Eliora with an A. So no, I can't remember how to spell. Okay.
Eleora.
Yes, Theleora, then CAMP at the Eliora camp. All right, we've overshot, people. It's time for me to say goodbye. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.
That went
It just
well.
occurred to me that it's Friday, really. We have the weekend. All right, thank you, YouTube.
Thank you, everyone. This was such a fun. B, thank you for your suggestion. We have taken it up, B. We're gonna do this, but till